Hello, this is Greg Allison of Green Griggs coming to you on the last 5 minutes of the 25th of February 22. Time on deck again, 5,500 hours Central Standard Time. And I come to you tonight to talk about our normal Friday night stuff, but this is a special session. We're going to talk about Putin. Putin is shooting. His mouth is really putting out the threats. So is Vlad gone mad? What is going on? Guys, we're live tonight. This is a live chat. And if you're joining my channel for the first time watching live chat, these are usually just open chat sessions between me and my subscribers who like to ask me a lot of questions and talk about just about anything under the sun, because we consider ourselves a family in this channel. And in part, we just do this as like a family reunion, because in this day and age of social restrictions, we don't get as much community time. But tonight we're going to have a special topic. The special topic that we're going to launch out with is this discussion of Putin and some of the threats he's made. And I'm going to bring it back into some of the videos I've just posted recently and draw your attention to those and why you really need to watch them. Guys, this is kind of off the top what we're about to talk about. I'm going to open up my chat room here on this other screen, so give me a second for me to hit the refresh here. But guys, we're living in peerless times, and I think you all know that. But the times seem to be getting insanely peerless. Things that we wouldn't have expected just weeks ago are now seeming to be suddenly the norm. So let's get all into that. I'm sure people are still just joining, so it don't hurt for me to take a minute here to kind of spoil this up, what we're going to be talking about. I said we got 29 in the room so far. That's very good. Oh, we got Blue Bottle Bunny Farm. Glad to see you here in Gold Parish. Steppers J, C Stone. Stop, listen, think. Now there's something we need to do. Stop, listen, and think. Mad Cow Perkins. That's a good name. But even Greg from Tennessee. Louis Sharp. Joseph. Heard a powerful question. Is Putin a dictator or an NWO holdout? Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna have to approach that very gingerly on this platform, but you know, there's something to be explored there. A lot of people were thinking they're not on that side. They may really be. There's a lot of game, a lot of theater, a lot of deception these days in the world, guys. A lot of people make it look like they're doing one thing, but are really playing a game. And there's a big game. The biggest game is called the set of re. Switch that around. You know what I'm talking about. It's often referred to as great. I don't think it's so great. You know what I mean? All right. I'm going to do some sharing, guys. We got 41 in the room. We're going to do some screen sharing. We're going to get all into this. We're going to pop into it real fast so that you can know what we're going over. Now, some of this stuff, if you saw my nuclear survival part 2 of 2, it starts out talking about Ukraine. Okay. A lot of people say, oh, Greg, nobody's going to watch it because everybody's interested in Ukraine. Well, that's what the video started out about. In fact, you got to go about 14 and a half minutes into it to actually get to the PowerPoint presentation that I'm presenting about your nuclear safety, your nuclear power plants, the risks they pose, especially the spent fuel rod pulls, and how those things can actually burn, and why you got to be concerned about them, and why radiological events are not just nuclear war events. Grid down is a radiological event, my friends. And if we don't do something, that's coming. That's coming. It's one you better learn about nuclear safety. And this stuff is survivable, but it's going to be nasty, nasty, nasty. Jesse Mills, how you doing? How are you doing? Yes, how deep does it go? Yeah, that's a good question, Joseph. That is a really good question. Sir from the desert says, please be very specific about the threats in the larger context of Russia, as Russia sees things, and sources, please. All right. Look, guys, I have showed you articles. Okay, where I come from. So, I am quite aware of both sides of this argument. People will often see the title of my YouTube video, and they will make assumptions. I'll never watch the video, and they will accuse me of all kind of stuff. And it, you know, I'll post something on Facebook, for example, in a Facebook chat group, and I get attacked. Well, you should have talked about this, and it's really about that. I said, oh yeah, that's exactly what I said in the video. I know you didn't watch it. You know, I get that all the time. So just hang on your britches, guys. We're getting there. But that's what happens. Very few people watch a video, but they know all about what you said because of the title. You know what? You can't, with a little title, cover what you're actually talking about in the video, especially when you cover things in the depth that I cover in this channel. I cover things from both sides typically, okay? But we're going to go all into this. So hang on your britches, guys. We're going to go in this, but I am going to right now be talking it from the threat end, and I'm going to use the things that Vladimir Putin said. Now, if you want to know sources, you can watch the video that Vladimir Putin made himself, and I talked about this in that Nuclear Survival 2, and I showed websites from that, and it was all excerpts and things he said directly. So some people will say, well, Putin wouldn't say it's, but oh yeah, he did. Okay, all right. So Putin has, and I did way back another one. Video when I was talking about Putin's perception, Putin's mind, what's in his mind, because I said this whole thing is going to depend on what is in Putin's mind, that Putin was going to be the decider of all these things. And it depends on his worldview. I've talked a lot about worldview. I've also talked a lot about people of power and how they wind up in basically a bubble. The emperor has no clothes. Their worldview becomes skewed over time. It happens to everybody in power. The more power you get, the more your worldview is skewed. And I've used this to talk about dictators, such as little Kim over in Kim Jong-un in North Korea. And, you get a scene in Stalin. You've seen it in any and every dictator there's ever been, kings and queens and people of power, even in corporations and organizations around the world and in America and every country and everywhere. We all have worldviews, and our worldviews are all colored by the way we see things. And this, if you cannot understand somebody, do you understand their worldview, okay? And that includes the Russians, where they're coming from in general, and Putin is specific for this case. So there we go. I'm tired of lecturing. But the only reason I did it is because I get attacked and accused of saying things that I actually didn't say, because people don't watch my videos a lot of times. They will read the title and they know all about what I'm talking about. Really? That means you never watch any of my videos. But people who watch my videos, my subscribers on my channel know that I cover a broad range of things. Now, I don't always, in every video, play out each side of it. But if you watch the continuum of the stuff I put out, you will see that I do cover a lot of ground in different areas. The problem is, there's only 24 hours in a day, and people really don't want to watch a video for much more than 2 hours. So it's got to be scattered around in many cases. So if you already know where I'm coming from on things, watch my many different videos on these things. Now, I did pull a bunch of videos and put them private just recently, because the two most important videos you can watch right now has got to do with nuclear radiation survival, nuclear event survival, and people just weren't watching, especially the last one. I thought, well, I need to give them a few less choices so we can direct them to seeing that somebody thought I was punishing people. No, it's to try to get your attention focused on what's important. I did a video, live session. They got 3,000 views, and I was talking about what's happening in Ukraine. That really wasn't an important video. I left it up just because it was getting a lot of views, but I could have taken that one down because everybody knows what's going on. What everybody knows is happening. Okay, I said it begins. The title, it begins. 3,000 views. If you really want to know what's important, go look at the videos about what to do about it. That's what's important. That's where the rubber meets the road, guys. All right, my diatribe is going too long here. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, guys. Let's go there. And yeah, we speak truth here. Exactly, Stepfords. Yeah. So if you're new to my channel, you don't know what we're coming from. You need to watch some of my videos. Go back and do a little research. Greg, I talk a lot in here about a topic I call rose-colored glasses, and it's based on the notion everyone has a world view. Everyone. It's how they see and perceive the world. And a lot of these people are well-meaning people, but their worldviews will differ according to their culture, how they were brought up, and just how they see things, where they're from, because everybody wants to justify who they are and where they're at. And, the problem with the worldview is you get confirmation bias. There's several different words for the process in which the information you take in you interpret it in such a way that it reinforces the worldview you already have. And that's referred to as rose-colored glasses. And this was a perspective given to me by a drill sergeant in primary leadership school at Fort Richardson, Alaska, back when I was stationed at Fort Greeley. Name was Sergeant Spivey. And boy, I hope he's hearing this. He was a great man, a smart man, a black drill sergeant who was an awesome instructor, and he taught me this. He taught me it was one of the best lessons I ever got because it gave me a lot of perspective into human psychology that has been a very useful tool ever since. And I try to share that with you. So, the Sergeant Spivey, ha, awesome man. Hats off to him. Great sergeant, Sergeant Spivey. I hope he's listening. I hope he's alive. Anyway, he taught me about rose-colored glasses. Everybody has a worldview. Everybody takes in information in such a way that reinforces that worldview. Now, listen, there's a lot of people talk about that in various, high level, highfalutin terms of psychology that just don't register with most people. But this is the easiest way to get it. Not to mention there's a song called Rose-Colored Glasses, right? All right. So if you want to understand Putin, know what his worldview is. He has a worldview. But know this too. When you're sitting at the top of the podium and everybody tells you constantly that you're great and wonderful and smart and your gaseous odors don't stink, that even when you're naked, you're not naked. The emperor has no clothes. That's an old story from way back that's meant to reinforce this, and it keys in on how people of power, especially, are vulnerable to having a very skewed worldview. Look at child actors. Look at people that have been basically worshipped and adulated, or have so many people. Their worldview becomes extremely skewed over time. So you take somebody like Kim Jong-un, who from his childhood was cultured and brought up to be, the great leader, the great leader. His worldview is extremely skewed. And his dad had the worldview of a cartoon character. These guys are dangerous because they don't see things as we do. And if they happen to also be sociopathic or psychopathic, which is often needed to rise in power in an authoritarian system, then they're double, maybe triple dangerous. Because then they have no empathy. They have a crazy worldview and no empathy. Wow. In a day and age when we have nuclear weapons, having no empathy and a highly skewed worldview is very dangerous. See, the reason I talk about this is because we like to evaluate these people and rationalize how they think based on the way we think. That don't even make any sense when you really understand it. That's off the charts. No, you can't do that. It doesn't work. Also, people in other countries don't think like Americans, and people in autocratic systems don't think like people from Republican representative type governments. The democratic process, as we call it, know it, and the thought processes that go with it don't apply to these people. What applies to them is the strong man on the play yard, the bully. And I've told you in the past, if you don't want to get your candy taken from you on the playground, don't be the weakling. You got to be the strong guy. Don't mean you got to go around beating people up and threatening, or rah, 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 rah. You just got to be the strong guy. You ever noticed a lot of the big guys in class back when they were in high school were some of the most jovial people? Why? Didn't have anything to worry about. Nobody's going to go beating them up. They didn't have to act tough. They already were. Didn't require, a lot of barking and crowing and scratching. We're tough already, and didn't have to do anything. And a lot of these are some of the most gentle people you'd ever meet. Then that's the way we need to be. And when it says the meek shall inherit the earth in the Bible, that's the kind of meek it was talking about. You could have your saber by your side. Your sword could be in the scabbard right there, maybe the biggest one around. But you didn't need to pull it out. You didn't need to use it because you were already tough. Everybody knew it. Problem is, we're not there today. We're not tough. And it's obvious. And those that have certain worldviews that are skewed a certain way may think it more so than it really is. So a lot of stuff to think about. Now, I was really on a tirade. I didn't mean to get into it. It wasn't where I started to go, but somebody, was telling me to cite my sources and make sure I covered the broad spectrum. Well, that's what I do. It's what I do. But first thing is first. If we want to understand these people, you got to start with who they are, where they're from, and what their worldview is. And it's not all bad. What I tell people in my channel all the time here is there's good and bad people in each and every country on earth, in every continent, of every race, color, creed, religion, in every hamlet, shire, village, city, county, oblast, state, whatever you want to call it. You're going to find good people in all these places. You will find good people everywhere. And you'll find bad people. You'll also find that there's good and bad in everybody. One lesson my dad taught me, he said, Greg, the most evil person in the world's got just a little bit of good in them. And the best person on earth has got just a little bit of evil in them. So you may never see it, but it's there. It's like the yin and the yang. The Chinese had that concept. They called it yin and yang. There's many names for these things, you know. The ancients knew all these things. You know, we're not smarter. We're not one iota smarter than the ancients that lived 4,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. Read what's written in the Bible. Read what's written by the old writers, the historians. Read what's written by the Greeks. You know, they were brilliant people. They actually understood people better than we do today. They understood, our founding fathers understood government. We think that the Constitution is outdated. Oh, it's outdated. That's 250 years ago. That's outdated. They didn't know nothing back then. Well, excuse me, you don't know anything today because you haven't spent the time to understand human psychology because you're too distracted by your electronic devices and pop culture and all the silliness going on in the world. Those people were smarter than you are today about human governance, about human psychology, and the way people are. And if you read what they wrote, they knew these things. They knew them way back. And they were brilliant people. Don't cut them down. They had as many brain cells as you have. They just didn't have their brain cells scattered and distracted by a bunch of useless, silly trivia like we do today. So I'm going to give those guys credit, not us. They were way ahead of us. So if you think that the Constitution of the United States, the idea of freedom is antiquated, then you have fallen off the wagon and you're about to get drugged by your head of your hair or by your heels into tyranny. And they're going to run over you with treadmill. They're going to run over you with the treads of a tank and step on your neck with a big jackboot. That's what you got coming. And I don't care where you're from, that's where you're heading if you're not paying attention and waking up to these things. If you bought the media, you bought the stuff that they're putting out, you're on your way. You're on that slippery slope. You're already greased and heading down the drain. You are greased. You're going down. That's where most people are, sadly. All right. Now I'm going on my tirade. I got to pull back up and come back into earth here and talk to you because, and I'm just putting some perspective out there. See, we are so, I'm going to talk about the boogeyman for tonight. So we're going to have a boogeyman story. We'll have a little fun tonight too. So it's not going to be all bang, 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 because I try not to be like a lot of other prepping channels that get on and all they do is get on the screen and go, rah, 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 the world's coming in, everything's going bad. I've seen channels do it. Actually, I watch them. I like some of those channels. I like some of those guys, and they got a good heart. They mean well, and there's a niche, and they fill that niche, and it's an important niche to cover. But I also know that we don't ever need to panic. I also know that we need to be able to stop and smell the roses as the tidal waves are headed for sometimes. Sometimes you've got to be able to have perspective because there's a lot of things to understand, guys. One, what's the most playful creatures in the wild? What are the most playful creatures? Stan, hello, Greg and Swivelheads. That's right. We're here. My followers are affectionately known as Swivelheads because we keep our eyes wide open and head on a swivel. Somebody told me I was silly for saying that and doing that, and they couldn't bear to watch me because I did that. And I was like, really? Okay, you want that barking? Oh, I just did some barking, but I don't typically do this. The most playful animals in nature are the top predators, and they're cubs or kittens or whatever you call them, pups. The top predators are the most playful animals in nature. Why? They ain't got too much to worry about. They're at the top of the heap. Who's going to bug them? You might be the little pup, but Mama Bear is big and bad. Nobody's going to bother me. I got it made. Or the lions. Look at lion cubs, how playful lion cubs are. Look how playful wolf cubs are. Yeah. Now, herbivore, little young herbivore likes to be playful, but they're also scared. They are scared. Wild animals, especially the herbivores, are scared to death because any second they can be somebody's next meal. Wild game tastes gamey because it's full of hormones from being scared. Domestic meat is sweeter Because it's not full of all those hormones, because it's not scared to death every second. And some people think, oh, we're so cruel. We raise all these animals that we're going to butcher and eat. Well, most of them never know we're about to be butchered. And because if we do, you put hormones, they inject those hormones and the meat tastes, yeah, can't eat it to us. Now, actually, a true predator likes that taste. That's the preferred taste of a true predator. But we humans, really, we eat meat, but we're not that kind of predator. You know, we like sweet stuff, like peaches and strawberries and blueberries, grapes. We don't like meat that's shot full of adrenaline. Adrenaline is a hormone that really makes it taste just like, yeah. I know people that would take revenge on somebody before they would go off and slaughter the bull. They would take the bull and make it mad, unbeknownst to the owner. And when they had slaughtered it, they couldn't eat the meat because it would just be terrible. So just some things to point out here, guys. Sorry if I'm going on this too much, but so the top predators, the playful animals. But they got their own worldview too, and their worldview is kind of based on some justification. You know, they're not going to get bothered too much. So let's get back in the worldviews. We're going to talk about some things that Putin said and what it might mean to us. Now, Putin, you know, right? There's some things he said that are correct. The United States has thrown its weight around. The United States has invaded Syria and Iraq when it didn't need to be. I mean, we said Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. We bombed the heck out of Yugoslavia, Serbia. We became Serbia. We attacked various and sundry places. And a lot of the justifications we had really shouldn't have been none of our business. We shouldn't have been, in my humble opinion, we had no business being over those places. Often they were wag the dog operations that a president pulled off to try to get support from himself domestically by, I'm the tough guy, I'm taking care of business. We'll go over here and we'll bomb Slobodan Milosevic out of existence because he's a bad guy. Well, was he? Is al-Assad in Syria really a bad guy? So that's one of the things that's really upset Russia, because their only true free warm water base of any significance in the Atlantic side is in the Mediterranean. It's just I got to get through the Strait of Gibraltar to get out of. And it's not as big as the one in Sevastopol and Crimea, but there they got to go through the Bosphorus Strait again, which is controlled by Turkey on both sides, which is a NATO ally, which is beginning to lean toward Russia, by the way, guys. But you know, that's their main western warm water base. Now they've got bases in, you know, out in Siberia too, Vladivostok, which the Chinese are trying to claim. But Russia is limited. Most of their bases are in, you know, the Barents Sea. They're up in the ice areas, and it's hard for them to get in and out. So Russia is having, they have a much restricted navy. So every port they've got where they can get out is really treasure to them. And so that's the case of their naval port in the Mediterranean. We're going to come back to that. I'm going to show you what they're doing out there, which is really stark right now. So when we went in to do the color revolution to take out al-Assad because we said he used weapons of mass destruction on his people. Well, it so happens that a lot of people say that our guys staged that was a false flag. So a lot of guys say. A lot of people believe that. Maybe that's true. I'm trying not to talk too declarative on this platform, you know what I mean. That's my suspicion, big time. And I've seen a picture of Senator McCain with the guy behind me. Looked a whole lot about like al-Baghdadi, the founder of ISIS. You look who we funded over there, to the rebels that we funded to overthrow Syria. Who were they? What did they do? We went over there and said, oh, we're over here because we're trying to protect the people that al-Assad is torturing. The rebels that we funded and their spinoffs, ISIS, which was totally equipped with American equipment coming out of Iraq after we abandoned some things in Iraq, kind of like Afghanistan. And I understand we were trying to drop supplies many times to the Kurds and other people. Oh, we accidentally dropped those supplies in the territory of ISIS. Oh my God, we accidentally armed them. We accidentally fed them. We accidentally gave them ammunition. You know how many times that occurred? Well, we finally went in and got rid of ISIS, but only after they did a lot of damage. We almost got rid of them. What did ISIS do? Slaughtered Christians, children, women. There's videotape of that. There's lots of videotape of that. Oh, Greg, it didn't happen. Oh my gosh, there is so much videotape of that. It's gross. Go search it for yourself. Don't ask me to put all that on there. It's nasty stuff. I don't want to put it on there. Go look for it. They were terrible. They did far more damage, far more, thousands of times more damage than anything al-Assad was ever accused of doing. We funded that because we were trying to overthrow al-Assad. Because al-Assad had a Russian naval base, and al-Assad wasn't playing with them and their terms that they wanted. And we even had Syria as part of the axis of evil. But under al-Assad, Christians, Jews, and Arabs lived peacefully together in Syria until we went in and kind of messed things up. Think about Libya. Libya was a very prosperous country until we went in and messed things up. Oh yeah, we did good. We took out Muammar Gaddafi. Yeah. Well, Muammar Gaddafi had turned a leaf. He gave up his nuclear power his nuclear weapons program. He was trying to be a good guy. He was trying to put in a big canal in Libya to make his people prosperous, but he also wanted to create a new monetary system, make his people more prosperous. It was a goal based in art. Ooh, that made certain people in the world mad. And Hillary thought it was so funny when he got captured and the things that happened to him. Oh, that was just great. Muammar Gaddafi was on, he wasn't the most wonderful person in the world, not by a long shot. He used to go out and challenge our forces and draw his lines in the Gulf of Libya and threaten us when Reagan was president. Reagan just went in and bombed his tent. Fortunately, killed one of his daughters. Well, he kind of took his tail between his legs and didn't say so much after that. But he was trying to get his own nuclear program. But when 9/11 happened, he had a change of heart. He knew he could be hit. He had a change of heart, but it didn't do him any good, did it? This is the lessons to the other new dictators. Oh, if we try to give things up, what happens to us? Look at Ukraine. They gave up their nuclear weapons to Russia, and we told them they'd be safe. What happened to them? Look at what's going on today. So yeah, I can see why countries covet the development of nuclear weapons. That's their only guarantee that they're not going to get pummeled. Because if they don't, and if we don't like them or somebody else don't like them, they get pummeled over and over again. Well, Gaddafi happened to be the one guy who would stand up at the UN and tell the truth. Well, I remember even Sean Hannity used to not like, oh, that guy's crazy. Look what he's saying. Well, Sean Hannity's turned the leaf a little bit since then. But I remember always, oh, let this guy, he's insane. But the stuff he said, if you ever go back and watch Muammar Gaddafi and what he lectured at the UN, those were the only true words ever uttered at the podium of the UN. Muammar Gaddafi. Was he a great man? No. Ain't none of these leaders in the world great men. None of them. None of them anywhere. They all got problems. But I'm going to give him a star for that. At least one star for that. He told the truth. And he got slammed for it. He came closer to telling the truth than anybody. Some people kind of tell us a little bit of the truth after they've done all their damage and are running out the door like Ike, President Eisenhower, and telling us about the military industrial complex. But he waited until his power was over, which is probably smart on his side, unlike Kennedy, who was trying to tell us while he was still president. You see what it got him. So there you are. Now I've done said too much here. Amanda, so slow down. They fall dominoes. Okay. Amanda's been getting on me about all this stuff the United States does. Oh, United States. Blah, blah, y'all. Well, it ain't y'all. It ain't me. I never read this stuff. And I'll tell you, this isn't the first time I've talked about this. I may be talking too much about it all at one time. It may get me slammed here by the platform. But, we've not been the best players in the world. We've done a lot of stuff we shouldn't have done. Now, sometimes it was because of a worldview that was here. Like during the days where we thought the one big enemy in the world was the Soviet Union, and everything we did in foreign policy was based on countering the Soviet Union. Well, Soviet Union may be countered, but we compromised a lot of our values to do so, and we should never do that. Like taking a duly elected president in the country, putting a coup on him, and putting in a tyrant in his place. That happened in Iran. Iran had a duly elected president. Iran was a very Western kind of a country at that time. And they had an elected president. They were their people in Iran had a lot of Western style taste and fashion and culture about them, but we went in and put the Shah of Iran over them. And he was a tyrant, and they resented that. And because of that, today we have the Ayatollahs that hate America, and America's the great Satan to them. Who do they call the great Satan? They don't call Israel the great Satan. They call the United States of America the great Satan. So if you think they're always just targeting Israel, no, they target us too. Why? Because of what we pulled on them. Now, are the Ayatollahs great and wonderful? No. They sent the kids out to clear minefields when they had a war with Iraq and Iran. They fought each other, but we also played a big hand in that because we figured if they were fighting each other, it kept them either one from getting too powerful and dominating the region, divide and conquer. We played that game too a lot. So then we finally got tired of Saddam Hussein and took him out. Yeah, well, we had a lot to do with creating him too. So there's been a lot of strange things done, a lot of strange things. And Saddam Hussein, it probably, we take people out once their threat level goes down, it seems. Saddam Hussein at that point was a paper tiger. He would stand up and beat his chest for the value of his own people because he knew that if he didn't do that, he'd lose his power base at home. He'd get taken out and he would get hung. What happened to Saddam Hussein? He lost his power base at home. He got taken out and got hung. What happened to Muammar Gaddafi? People took him and drug him through the streets, That's what happens. If you're a dictator, you got to be the strong guy. Once you quit being the strong guy, the people that don't like you are going to do that to you. And every dictator in the world fears that, and it's part of their worldview. Every dictator, every authoritarian leader is paranoid. And you see it with Stalin. Stalin killed all the people close to him. And once people got being close to him and being one of his top people was highly risky because he'd start getting suspicious of you, getting paranoid of you. Same thing with Kim Jong-un. What he did, his uncle that put him in power got turned into kibbles and fed to the dogs, literally. Well, what's that tell you about little Kim? He's got to be psychopathic. And they say the person most likely to take over should he expire, and his health has been highly questioned of late, is his sister. And she's thought to make him look like a little Sunday school boy. She is thought to be very mean, very evil, very psychopathic. That's just what some people think. I don't know. I'm not walking in her shoes. I don't stand next to her. But these are the reports that you hear from various and sundry directions from time to time. It's just a chatter that's out there. Is it true? Time will tell if this person will take over. Let's hope not. But autocratic systems have that problem. One-party systems tend to be autocratic systems. Communism can only survive as a one-party system. We got a lot of people in this country, a lot of young people think communism is the deal. That's the thing. That's where we got to go because it's going to be fair to distribute things. Yeah, it'll be fair in that you'll be all equally destitute and broke. You want to see how the communism works versus capitalism? Capitalism is the worst thing in the world. Okay. Economic freedom. I'm not talking about the kind of capitalism. We have crony capitalism in the United States where the companies go in and rig the game with Congress. That's not pure capitalism. That's crony capitalism. But look in Singapore. No natural resources at all. None. Not a darn thing. They're rich, prosperous. Then you go to a nation rich in natural resources, and the people are starving to death. Venezuela. But there you go. But the people in Venezuela have a lot of equality. They're all starving. It's perfectly equal. Yeah, that's equitable, right? They're all equitably starving. More truck, bigger, more truck, the bigger the war cry, and blame Russia is a 2-ton easy with 24/7 news if fear against Russia. Well, look, I've been to Moscow and I've told everybody that, and I've told everybody there's good people there. I told everybody, you know, of all the cities I visited, my two favorite cities were Toronto, cities outside the United States, Toronto and Moscow. And which did I like best? I think Moscow, actually. I really enjoyed Moscow. I really did. And I met a lot of good people there. But, you know, the problem is leaders in the world. And it's not the people, it's the leaders, it's the governments that take us into all these directions. You can get a lot of political power by telling everybody all their problems are the fault of these guys over here. And so it's their fault. It's their fault. If you work with me and if you rally with me, I'll help you counter these people. So we'll protect you from these people. And then maybe we'll get them back. You know, we'll get ours from them. Just support me. You know, that's a power politic played in organizations and nations. Hitler played that power politic. That's, you know, he played it against the Jews. We had an American presidential candidate who never got elected, who I've actually met, who also played that. Old Jesse, what's his name? Jesse Jackson. Yeah, he plays the same thing. You know, there's a lot of people play that. Little Kim Jong-un, he plays that because, you know, the United States is, you know, he needs a boogeyman in the United States. But if the United States is not the boogeyman, he can't get the kind of total support that he gets in this country. A dictator really needs a boogeyman. Yeah, we're going to talk about boogeymen later in a different context. But everybody is, it's their fault. It's them. You got to have me to protect you against them. Politicians of all types use that. And sometimes they're really just flip sides of the same coin. Now, so what I just got through talking about was the justification that Russia has in blaming us for the kind of attacks that we have made in the past. And some people will say, oh, Greg, you don't ever talk about it. Oh, I've talked about this many times. And I've also said that people, if you go back historically, and this is a repeat of something I've said before, if you go to Donetsk and Luhansk, they petitioned to be independent countries. And when the Soviet Union was being formed from 1917 to 1921, I believe, Lenin gave Donetsk and Luhansk to Ukraine against their petitions. They did not want to be part of Ukraine. They wanted to be Russian then. Lenin gave them. Putin was right in saying that deal. We created Ukraine. Well, they didn't create Ukraine, but Putin went a little bit overboard with that. But there is some merit to what he was saying in that regard. Now, for those that worry that I'm going way over pro-Russian, I'm not. Okay, I'm not going way over pro-Russian here, guys. I am just telling you that there's two sides to every coin. And I'm just painting a little bit from their side, their worldview, because I was challenged to do that. And I've already done this. Everything I'm telling you today, tonight, I've already said. A lot of you didn't hear me say it. And, I will suppose a week from now, so I will be attacked because somebody is saying I'm on the other side. You never looked at this. You never talk about this. I always get that. I always get this. You don't ever listen to me. That's why you think that. So I try to cover depth. I try to cover things from both sides. I try to let you see things as they are as best as I can understand and communicate. So Putin put out a lot of points that were correct. And the United States did this, United States did that. Our attack in Libya, our attack in Syria. Oh yeah, by the way, in Syria, presidential candidate, Secretary of State, Hillary Rodham, put out that she wanted to establish a no-fly zone over Syria. And I think this is on maybe the Helen DeGeneres show. So it was on a talk show, big talk show. And she said this, we want to put a no-fly zone over all Syria. Nobody else will be flying. We'll stop all this, blah, blah, blah. And somebody asked her, well, Russians are in Syria. They got MiGs. What happens when a Russian MiG flies? She said, well, shoot it down. My head. Woman, you are bat guano nutso. Hey, Judy, how you doing? Watching trains go by. Freedom is not the left. No, it's not. Um, and I'll tell you what, we get people on the right and the left side sometimes are really on the same side. They just, they're making, they're posturing. A lot of stuff's posturing. And then we got rhinos. I'm for freedom. Bottom line, I'm for freedom. I'm for freedom. What the heck is wrong with freedom? A lot of people say, oh, freedom's bad. Freedom's bad. Freedom's racist. I've even heard that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Freedom's colorblind. It don't care what color you are. We're all born with inalienable rights. God doesn't care what color you are. And not one bit. Not one little bit. So, and I get some people say, "Oh, Greg, you're Nordic. You identify with Nordic ways. You're identify with Odin. Blah blah blah. How come you aren't defending the white race?" I defend every race. That's why, and I'm not distinguishing. By the way, I have no use for racist. None. Nada. So if you're a racist, we're gonna have some problems. Because I don't like that. You got to come to understand other people. I got a black daughter and a Mexican granddaughter, and I love them to death. I love them. So, very talented, bright individuals. So, you got to understand. Yeah, I may be blonde hair, blue eyed, white skin, but don't it all start to think at me. And I'm from the South. I'm from Alabama. If you think that means I'm racist, then you're a racist, because that's not the case. Generalizations are the problem. People generalize. That's when you get in problem. Now, some things can be generalized. I mean, us Nordic-looking guys, we do a little better in colder weather. And it's all climatological adaptation. So you can generalize some things like that. But there's always going to be exception to every generalization. So you got to be able to accommodate that. All right. That's just, way things are. So don't get all hung up on such things. And again, so what? Hey, Blue Bottle, my strength. Is your strength that you like cold weather? They shall not kill for own personal wealth. Well, that's a good one. That's a good one. Amanda. Sweat is May. Sweat is May? Sweet as May? Okay, Amanda, I'm not sure what you're saying there. All right, so yeah, I'll be following the chat here more in a little bit. I'm just kind of still in my tirade mode here. So hang on, guys. We're going to talk about Putin here. We're going to talk. That's what I was going to start this whole video out with. Somebody threw something out there telling me I need to back up all my sources and make sure you could look at that other side of the picture. What? I do it all the time. I do it all the time, guys, all the time. So, and this isn't the first time I said anything that I just said. Okay, well, let me just finish with that point. Donetsk, Luhansk, they wanted to be Russian before there was a Soviet Union. They were given to Ukraine. The language there spoken is primarily Russian. Now, some people say that people from Russia went in and manipulated it and fomented the division there against Ukraine. Well, you'll expect allegations like that from the other side. So here's the problem with the fog of war. You get a lot of the data, you get a lot of the information you get. You can have all kind of sources, but the sources are tainted too. Because the guy who writes from the source side of any source also has a worldview and wears rose-colored glasses. So you got to moderate and look at everything you read, all the information you take in as prejudiced. Yes, everything you read, except the temperature on your thermometer, what a meter says, is prejudiced. If it's coming through a human mind and going out to a pen or a typewriter, it reflects the worldview of the typer, of the writer. And it's got to get through their meat servo, going through their meat mind, monkey mind, or their meat servos. And it's all colored by their worldview. Therefore, all the articles you read are prejudiced. Bear that in mind. Everything's prejudiced. So That's why you need to understand the worldviews. That's why you need to understand rose-colored glasses, because then you need to back off. Okay, all this has a prejudice to it, so you got to look at the source from it. An article claiming all these things about Donetsk, written from the standpoint of Ukraine, is going to say, well, these guys came in, they were instigators of fomented, and over here from the other side, they're all freedom fighters, and they're being oppressed by the guys over here. Neither one's entirely true. And both are somewhat wrong. But now the people in Donetsk and Luhansk are primarily Russian-speaking people. And my take on it is, let people vote. Give them a chance to really vote. Let them be the determinant of their own future. I believe in self-determination. I said it so many times on there, guys, so many times. Yet I get accused of not supporting such things. But that also works for Ukraine. They also, some people, oh, well, I've had people tell me that Putin had the right to go in there and do that to them. No, he don't. They have the right to self-determination also. They don't have the right to be squashed. Okay? Now, Putin has his worldview. And some of it is skewed because he's been seeing what we've done, and he's felt backed into a corner. But I think he's overinterpreted things a bit too. And some of the things that he puts out and says is not true. There's not untruths on both sides. Some of that stuff that's not true, I think he firmly believes. He was angry. He was mad in some of these recent reviews he got. He was, he's normally, the KGB stone-faced poker player just talking. Boy, you could see he had a little bit of emotion showing through. And one of his last press conferences he did. And that's one of the ones I'm going to be quoting from here in a little bit. There was some emotion coming out of the man. That wasn't good. We all are emotional beings. We like to think, that, we could be somewhat divided between Spock and Dr. McCoy in Star Trek, right? Dr. McCoy is all emotional and Spock was all logical. Of course, how do you be a doctor if you're not got logic, right? But, see, Star Trek like to play things like that. They like to play on some of the human psychology. They had crappy, props and things in those days. So they invented things to deal with the fact they couldn't afford to buy a good prop for a spaceship for landing and going up. So they invented the teleporter, which became a signature in the series. So sometimes necessity is the mother of invention. I ain't like my shirt that Rex gave me, my logo, Green Rex. Check it out, guys. I'll show you some more stuff Rex gave me in a little bit. And we're going to have a little fun here tonight, too. And we're not going to be all barking. But, Donetsk and Luhansk deserve the right to at least vote. And it should be a vote that's monitored so we know it's legitimate. Of course, what we're going to see, the United States was part of backing a coup in Ukraine that overthrew a Russian, leaning. Okay, I'm old school. I like to call Russia Soviet Union stuff. So I grew up in the Cold War, guys. I was in the Army during the Cold War. So, yeah, it's not the Soviet Union. They're not communists in Russia anymore. And, the communist nation was an atheistic nation. Russia today is a Christian Orthodox nation. They're very Christian. Vladimir's mom was Christian. But that doesn't mean he's perfect. He's a cold, calculated individual. I mean, look what he did with the Chechens and so forth. Okay, so he's a power player. That's why he's where he's at, because he's been good at calculating and playing power and satisfying the oligarchs in Russia. That's how he got to be where he is. And that's how he got to be one of the richest men on earth. It may not be all in the books, his riches, but he definitely has them. And he has some corruption. Power corrupts and absolute. Power corrupts absolutely. He's been in power for 20 years. People that oppose him tend to get poisoned. Opposition candidates and people that oppose them otherwise tend to get poisoned. And this happened a number of times. A lot of times a poison is radioactive components that are only at the disposal of the government of Russia. So very interesting things. This happened several times. So if you think he's a saint and wears a halo, if you think any world leader is a saint and wears a halo, you need to go back and do some digging. And I would apply the same thing to Trump because he threw Julian Assange under the bus. And so he's got a little smudge on him too. And he also backed certain things that, have to do with things getting put into us. A lot of us are not so fond of, you know what I mean? So I got one eye open on him too. And somebody asked me here earlier to talk about such things. And then we're going to come around to that. The NWO aspects of, people you think are on the side of right, who sometimes are just putting on a game. It's theatrics, a lot of theatrics on the world stage. All right, a lot of games played. So let's go into this finally. Let's talk about some of these things. Let's go into Putin. Thanks, Victor. I'm depressed again. Okay, I'm sorry I'm depressed. They're watching trains go by. We lost a bunch of viewers. We had 200 here, I think, at one point. Yeah, please. We got 154 people in the room right now. Only 116 thumbs up. Help me out, guys. Help out my algorithms and give us some thumbs up because I'm not anti-Ukraine. I'm not anti-Russian. I am against oppression, and invasions are oppressive, especially when you're killing civilians. That's not the way to accomplish things. That is no way to do it. And nobody has the rights to do that. Scripted theater, says Soul's Eye Jewel. Smart lady. Smart lady. So we're going to talk about these things. Ukraine has been attacked first. Yeah, they were attacked. Has been attacking. Okay, Hawkeye. Well, this, thought that they were attacking Donetsk and Luhansk and Donetsk had people there that claimed they needed to be defended from Ukraine. And there's some merit to that. There is merit to that. But did it stand at what happened here? So, Vivian retracted her message. Okay. I just started to say something about the T-Man, but I didn't get to read it. Richard Solomon. Got you, bro. All right. Well, thank you. Trump is a snake in the grass, says Billy 777. He's a very popular one. But guys, I got to wonder about him. I did a video asking if he was a covert agent of the deep state, and it come out of when he threw Julian Assange under the bus. I couldn't believe it. So, wait a minute, this man got you elected because he put out the truth on HRC. That's when you got elected, Trump. Why did you throw him under the bus? His answers had very deep state connotations to them. So, wow. And I got to think, well, this guy is a New Yorker. He's a billionaire. And he used to pal around with the Trumps. Yeah, and you know what? He did know Mr. What Island guy, Epstein. He did know him. There's pictures of them together. So, who really is, who's the real Donald Trump? Yeah, he's got us all, he came on TV on Fox News and he was really putting out, blue collar populist ideas. And so he got people's attention and everybody got to believe in him, supporting him. But what if all that was a front? It was put out there so that we would latch on to somebody and think he was going to save us when on the outside he might have been putting that out, but maybe on the inside he's got something else there. Then you got a false savior. And what's the Bible say? Trust no man, right? Isn't that what the Bible says? Trust no man. Trust no man. Even the best has a little bit of evil, according to my dad. And is he the best? Definitely a potty mouth guy. But, I don't know. I got a lot of guys who get mad at me when I talk like this. I'm just asking questions. Have we been hoodwinked? What's going to happen? I don't know, guys. How come he didn't take the deep state down? Well, maybe it was because they had him all wrapped up with all the allegations of being a puppet of Putin, a Putin puppet. Maybe that's also what kept them making a peace deal with Putin. You know what I've said, guys? I've said many times in the past that we should have made a peace deal with Putin, with Russia, and to safeguard us against China, Xi Jinping. And we didn't do that. Trump's a businessman, and the USA Inc. needed a CEO. Trump was great for the job. Well, there's truth in that. And Trump did do a lot of good things. I'm going to give him credit for that. And he definitely didn't look weak to world leaders. So we weren't a little weakling on the playground, getting our candy taken from us when Trump was president. Now we get our candy taken from us by the bullies. So there you go, guys. I love Trump, but nowadays I worry about everybody. That's where I'm coming from. There you go. You got to keep your eyes wide open, guys. What I tell you all the time, keep your eyes wide open, head on a swivel. I mean, for everything. Yep, Greg, lots of people are still wanting him to save us rather than saving themselves. Bingo, exactly, flipping nickel. We gotta really watch out and take care of ourselves. You know, if you're looking for a savior from outside, you're looking for the wrong thing. We got to be able to take the world ourselves and take control. It's just like the whole Q thing. What was the message of that? The whole message is don't worry your pretty little heads. We got it all covered. Everything's going to be good. All these things are going to happen. And it was all 100% lies. None of it happened. None of these things were being set up. None of that stuff was going to take place. Now, the root things they alleged, okay, but, you know, they had everybody's horn swallowed, so we ain't got to worry about it. It's all taken care of. That's a good way to get a patient to lay down and go to sleep. Hypnotized. It's all great. And suddenly, the jaguars got you by the throat. Well, that's what happened. That's what happened. The old jaguar came up on us, and we were asleep. Why? Because we were told everything was great and wonderful. Don't worry your pretty little heads. And I've got to wonder, the Q characters seem to have a lot of inside information, which really makes me go back and wonder about the T-Man. Is the Q man and the T-man connected? A lot of people thought they were tight. Oh yeah, it's authoritarian. Look, it's got all the Trump, it's got all the auspices of the T-man. Did it? I don't know, guys. That's what a lot of channels promoted and said that we were believing that stuff. And I had a lot of friends. I told a lot of my friends, I said, guys, this is not true. And then we get mad at me. Oh, no, it's true. I got friends that are high up in the intelligence community, and they vouch for this. This is what's going down. This is the way it is. Okay. Then, you know, some months after it all blow over, so, well, how's that little plan working out? Just want to get back, you know. So, guys, that's just it. We got to be careful. I lost sound temporarily. Ooh, maybe the platform is controlling me here. Maybe I'm telling too much here tonight. Let's see, you people, so many people still hypnotized. Bingo, exactly. Guys, keep your eyes wide open to everything. Trust in no man. Verify everything. Do your own research. Research the things I put out. All right, about CIA, SOAP. Yeah, flipping nickel. I'm with you, buddy. It's actually happening, and we told to hate them. Yeah, see, anybody that's promoting hatred is leading us down the wrong road. Dr. Strangelove and How We Come to Love the Bomb. Sid Peter Sellers and the cast of Hundreds. Yeah, he was great. You gotta love that man. He was quite the actor. But see, he played both sides and did it very well. And then, you know, that's a microcosm of what's happening in the real world. But actually, after 60 years on the third rock from the sun, it's a snafu and a Charlie Foxtrot. Mm-hmm. All right. Two things Trump and Putin have in common. They believe in capitalism, and both are totally against pedophilia. Now, that's important. That is important. That is important. But I'm just saying, guys, we got to be careful. We got to keep our eyes open. Now, it's also possible that somebody, maybe Trump was totally good, and maybe he got in office and got himself surrounded with the wrong people, and they fed him a lot of stuff. You know, when you're at the top, you got all these people around you feeding you with information. This also will affect your worldview. The people informing you, and sometimes they do it on purpose. They program you. Yeah, by the way, we can also program. See, the strength of it is once you realize these things, you got to understand, even artificial intelligence will have a worldview. Artificial intelligence will also wear rose-colored glasses. Once you understand that, computers are to be programmed. We get programmed. We watch programs. We get programmed. But you can also be a programmer. We can affect artificial intelligence. So all these people think artificial intelligence is just going to take over. Oh, well, you know what? Just find its Achilles heels. The program. See, feed it, develop its worldview. That's how you work it. That's also how you work politicians. Politics. Poles are ticks. Many tick. Poly is many. Many ticks. That's what you politicians. Bunch of bloodsuckers. Bunch of bloodsuckers. Well, it's all said to be true, Katie, but did they stop it? They told us they were against it, but did they really stop it? They might have knocked it down some. The human trafficking is still out there. All right. It's like the see who fight. We had a war on drugs. We went out, we shut down, busted drug operators. But at the same time, who was the biggest drug operator? Was it our own CIA? Yeah. Sometimes you're just eliminating competition, or making sure the other guy's on your block and playing on your team by your rules. All right. Let's go into the things I was going to share with you guys. So we painted a background. We've talked about worldviews, and I've made some justifications for some of the things that Putin said. Well, clearly, our own leaders have their worldviews, and they got some thick rose-colored glasses, and they're wrong on a lot of stuff too. We were wrong in what we did in a lot of places. I'll tell you that, and I've said it before, and I've said it before, and I've said it before. Then I get accused of never saying these things. Okay, whatever. So let's go in here. Greg, you never talk about blah, blah, blah. How many times have I heard that? And I've talked about it endlessly. So really? You never listen to me. Okay, I've said it before. But I get it all the time. Not a little bit, a lot. A lot. My messages in the chats and the notes that people leave on my videos. It's Greg, you never talk about, what am I sharing here? I'm really sharing this. Let's see. It comes up on my screen here in a little bit. A lot of those drugs flew in and out of, yep, they sure did. Mena, Arkansas. I can talk about that in a minute. Okay, let's see what comes. It looks like I was sharing the whole screen. That's what I was worried about. Is it going to do what I wanted to do here? You have to do an app when you do Zoom. So why was it showing the whole screen? That's really odd. That is an odd. That is not what Zoom usually does. Interesting. How did I do that? It's not like I'm not showing what I'm showing or what I was trying to show. I'm showing the whole screen. That's odd. That's not what Zoom usually does. Anyway, all right. So hang on, guys. Let's look here. Putin did say some things that I want to point out. And maybe he had his reasons. But we're going to talk about some of the things that worried me a little bit here about some of his worldview. What excuse did the Western world have for Iraq and Afghanistan? I already challenged Iraq, Amanda. Why are you asking that again? I already said we didn't need to be in there. The weapons of mass destruction was false. I've said that many times in here. So why are you asking me that again? Afghanistan, well, that is where the Taliban were located, and they did support things. So going in and taking out the Taliban has some justification, maybe, possibly. But then again, there's those that think that the job was done from the other side. The long occupation, that wasn't justified. So what happened in Afghanistan went too far. All right. Had plenty of time to brace. What does that mean, Amanda? Okay. Russia, Putin to oversee huge nuclear drills amid Ukraine teaching. Now, this was written before the invasion. The day before, Putin declared Donetsk and Luhansk to be independent states. He personally oversaw nuclear drills conducted by Russia. I think this plays in to everything else he was talking about. Just bear this in mind. He made it a point. This is something that's usually not done until autumn. Well, he did it the day before he recognized those oblasts as independent states. Oblast is the form of governance in the Russia and the Ukraine that is the next level down below a nation. It's kind of like a province in Canada. I would say the state in the United States, but the word state means country. So the United States is formed of 50 countries that all became something less than countries. So our Constitution got kind of perverted anyway by a centralized government. So I'm going to kill that screen right there. Now, Vladimir Putin warns hypersonic missiles are ready to launch the day after the invasion. This is something else he said. So we need to pay attention to some of this. Boom. I'm going to take that out. And then he said this, no matter who Putin, this is what some Putin says. He says, no matter who tries to stand in our way or create threats to our country and our people, especially understand that middle phrase, but whoever tries to stand in our way, he's talking about his invasion of Ukraine. They must know that Russia will respond immediately, and the consequences, I want to highlight this, the consequences will be such as you have never seen in your entire history. That's a huge statement. We've seen a lot of things in our history. Remember, he also said that the breakup of the Soviet Union was the worst geopolitical catastrophe of the 20th century. A century that had World War I, World War II, 2 nuclear bombs being dropped, the Holocaust, Stalin killing 60 million Russians, and Mao Zedong killing 80 million Chinese. Yet the biggest geopolitical, Pol Pot wiped out a third of his own people, in Cambodia. Yet the biggest geopolitical catastrophe was a breakup of the Soviet Union. Now, it's also part of his worldview, because he views things from his perspective and his nation. So this is a huge, ominous statement here. Now, he's basically saying, leave us the heck alone. Okay, well, Ukraine is not a NATO member. So it's understood that we're not, at least as NATO, want to get directly involved. Problem is, some of the NATO nations might. And that might get us into this. That's what I'm going to talk about this in a minute, guys. There are other NATO nations that may get us into it with Russia. And this is his response. And there was another speech he made. Today's Russia remains one of the most powerful nuclear states. He has made points out of that. So, and let's see. Oh yeah, down here, the little guy I'm going to talk about later is referenced. Putin's remarks were a stark reminder that nuclear weapons aren't just the boogeyman of a bygone era. When we're talking about boogeymen, my last video, and I've actually promised somebody I'm going to do a boogeyman story tonight. She's in the chat room. I'm going to do a boogeyman story tonight. The boogeyman. Boogeyman really has been a Southern expression. I guess it's spread around the country, maybe around the world. Now to get quoted in articles such as this. But since we talked about boogeymen so much to see in this article, I thought it was kind of interesting. So, yeah, here's something a lot of people need to understand. Russia's got about 6,000 nuclear weapons. The United States about 5,500. But how many are actually out there to be used? Not so many. There's about 1,600. Oh, how'd that get there? There's about 1,600 that are actually mounted on intercontinental ballistic missiles or weapon systems that can be delivered from Russia, and about the same, a little bit less from the United States over. I've had people in many of the posts I put out, oh, we got enough, there's enough nuclear weapons to destroy the whole world 5 times over. There's no point in trying to survive. And, that's just a cop out, and it's not the case. And most of the weapons that are used will be to attack other weapons, because a first objective of an enemy that's attacking a country is to take out their nuclear forces so they won't retaliate. So nuclear weapons will first and foremost be attacking other nuclear weapons. And that means that less of them will be used than might have happened otherwise. But it does mean the area where they are used is going to be heavily contaminated. But it will keep a lot of that contamination in certain areas of the world. It's not going to be all raster scan, evenly spread around the world. So this whole idea that you can burn the world over 5 times is not justifiable. And you see my nuclear survival videos, you'll see that there are plumes and zones and areas that's going to be worse than others. And I've shown what some of the safe zones would be. And Uday's Ways, fortunately, is one of them. Southern Hemisphere will be a lot safer where Amanda's at. So, hello, Uncle Greg, says Jet Eddie. Good to see you. Good to see you. So, tac nukes. Yeah, a lot of nukes are tactical. Lord Nikon points out a lot of nukes are tactical. A lot of those aren't going to get used, but those may be what start the whole thing. That may be how the whole thing starts. I'm going to go into that in just a little bit. I'm going to talk about that a little bit, but let me finish painting this picture from these articles. I don't know how the share got like this. This share is weird. I've never had a share be a whole screen share before. How did that happen? Because of what's happening in Ukraine, Finland and Sweden have never wanted to join NATO before. Suddenly, all at once, wants to join NATO. They're really thinking about it. And now that Putin is the big bully in the playground and threatening folks, he is threatening them. So it comes out of Russia in general. Finland and Sweden should not base their security on damaging the security of other countries by their ascension into NATO. Now, NATO is a defensive treaty organization, but the United States itself has been offensive in many cases, as has been pointed out by Putin. So I just want to point that out. All right. I'm going to have to shrink this down to do what I want to get to the next page. Something else Putin's got going on. He's got a huge naval armada in the Armada. I can't even talk tonight. In the Mediterranean Sea, near that base in where? The Taurus base in Syria. That's the name of their base in Syria, is Taurus. So let's see what they say here. There is 16 ships out there, all in a close formation, heading toward that port. And a lot of people think these are out there to counter NATO if somebody decides to do something vis-a-vis Ukraine that is not comporting with what Russia has in mind. Just bear in mind, I've told people that some of the things we got to expect as side effects of this is going to be soaring gas prices, given so much that comes from Russia. And just so happened we had a big refinery explosion here in the United States, and some people think that was sabotage that's based on what's going on there with energy. What a worse time to hit us with a big refinery explosion. So guys, prices are going up, fuel, that's going to drive up prices of farming and produce. It's all going to be coming together, guys. All right. Let's stop the share. Hey, hello, let's talk now. Come back here and talk some more. Hope they're okay. Support for Russia. The French people support Russia. Well, some do, but not over. There's also support for Ukraine coming out of France. Yeah, it sounded like I gave a very pro-Russian talk. No, I'm really trying to be neutral here. And I know that I've got friends out here who would get mad about that. You know, you're not supporting Ukraine. Russia's awful. I get that too. So I'm just trying to paint the worldview of each side. There's nothing good about an invasion. There's nothing good about war. Whether America does it or anybody else, it's not a good thing. War is horrible. It's terrible, especially when you are causing innocent civilians to die. No nation has a right to do that to another nation unless they are being attacked. Now, that's the kind of things that Russia's put out there. Oh, well, they've said that one thing they've said, which is pretty erroneous, is that Ukraine is putting together nuclear weapons. No, Ukraine is not. Ukraine gave up their nuclear weapons, and that was one thing. Actually, we were supposed to protect them in exchange for that, and Russia was also supposed to not attack them as part of the deal of them giving up nuclear weapons. Well, you see how well that worked. And we needed to protect them, and Russia did attack them. So in hindsight, had they knew where this was going, they probably would have kept their nuclear weapons. Maybe they should have. But the United States, most the world has as few nations owning nuclear weapons as possible, and that's understandable. As the more they have them, the more people that there are in the world with their finger on triggers, on big red buttons. And the more that you got, the bigger your probability is one day somebody is going to press that big red button, whether by intention or by accident. If you're watching the movie Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Carlton I got a picture on the wall back here. Charlton Heston was trying to save the world. There's a picture right there. It's Charlton Heston. Beneath the Planet of the Apes, he was trying to save the world. Yeah, what's he doing there? He's president of the NRA, trying to save the world. And what happened? He blew it up. The very end of the movie, he blew the whole world up trying to save it. Well, the best movie he's ever made. Great surprise ending, right? Brian Kiefer, I saw on your screen share you have only 2 cores on your computer CPU. Slacking, my friend. This is an old computer. I got to replace it. This isn't that screen share showed too much. I got to replace this computer, guys. So that's got to happen. It's causing me a lot of problems. And people always go, "Oh, Greg, you need a new mic. You need a new mic. You need a new mic. You need a new mic." I hear that kind of stuff all the time. Here's one. Here's one. They don't work on this computer. They don't work on it. I got these headphones over here. They don't work on it. I've had other mics. They don't work on it. I've downloaded all kind of software that don't work on it. I need a new computer. This old thing, it's got old processors. It's an old machine. It's running Windows 7. It's out of memory. I can only open so many windows on it at a time, and it just gets filled up. President of Ukraine is a ace for that child puppet. Maybe. But Putin claims he's denazifying Ukraine. And he said that the president was a Nazi. Well, the president's actually a Jew. Zelensky's Jewish. So to say he's a Nazi is kind of strange. But on the other hand, there are allegedly some of the National Guard elements in Ukraine are alleged to be Nazi in orientation. And I thought it was really strange that Obama supported what went down there, and it was alleged that the organizations he supported being put in power in Ukraine at the time were Nazi oriented. So a black president of the United States puts Nazis in power. That's the way it seemed. But there's a lot of allegations out there. You got to remember this. This goes back to worldviews. To the Russians, the worst thing in the universe is a Nazi, because Russia was invaded by Nazi Germany, and they celebrate I went to one opera in Moscow. The very first opera I ever went to was in the Duma inside the Kremlin. It was a huge celebration of their defeat of Nazi Germany. It was huge to Russia because they fought that war right there in their land, and it was a hard fight. Kind of like, and people in the United States don't understand that kind of thing unless you're from the South and you're still chafing over the war of northern aggression. People up north, why do people in the South always obsess over this war? They don't get it. It was right here. That's why our ancestors were decimated by that war. And the memories of that last very long. Old times there are not forgotten. Look away, look away. I'm gonna redo that sound. Old times there are now forgotten, blown away, gone away, no more here today, Dixieland. To me, the South was an area that had families, communities. Neighbors were family. People got together. They helped each other out. They worked with each other. Somebody died, everybody took food over. It was a close-knit community. There was a lot of love. Wasn't much violence, civility. You weren't cursing and doing crazy things. I saw kids coming down north. I thought they were crude. They were always cursing and wanting to fight. What is wrong with these people? It was a different perspective. So to me, Southern meant civility, being nice. But people up north, they think Southern is being racist and blah, 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 blah. We didn't have that where I grew up. But part of the communities I was in, I'm sure there are people that were that way. I'm not denying that, but these weren't part of the communities I was in. So, that's what I remembered about the South. It was, but a lot of that's gone, forgotten. Oh, I wish there were a land of cotton. Old times there are now forgotten, gone away, blown away. No more here today, Dixieland. All right, yeah, when I went to Alabama, some dude says, "You're from the North, huh?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Payback's Well, he sees the North suffering now. That's probably why he said that, because the South was decimated. The Southern economy was in shambles for 100 years. The South didn't begin to recover from that war until we started to industrialize a little bit in the 1960s, because our labor was cheaper and we didn't have unions like they had in the North. So over time, the South actually industrialized at the expense of the North. So that's probably what he's talking about. So Brian Keith Prepper says our own government is full of communists. You're right. So I doubt Putin's comments about Nazis, honestly. Yeah, we got a lot of communists. We got a lot of Nazis. We got both. What is China really? They claim to be communist. Maybe they're going back toward that, but what are they really if you look at the way they've been run? What is Nazi? Nationalist, socialist. China's very nationalist. They're somewhat socialist. Actually, the United States is more socialist than China. If you go to China, the people there, they're not taken care of. They don't have the safety net that we have right here in the United States. People starve. They go without. But they talk about communism. Yeah, guys, a lot of people are deluded about that stuff. And what's China do? They will blow up a dam and claim it as an act of God in such a way that, how they did destroyed a lot of levees during the flood in such a way that it would have to be claimed as almost as an act of God, so that they wouldn't have to pay insurance to pay for the properties that was destroyed downstream. Well, they had some weird way of doing these things. Our governments are freaking out hard. You're right, man. All these governments are bad, really and truly. National governments have all overreached. They've all got too big. What's going on in Canada? What's happening in Australia? What's happening in the United States? What's happening throughout Europe? Bingo. All these governments have overreached way, way too far. We need freedom, guys. I just want to talk about freedom. Jetty Eddie. I got a neighbor that has a Confederate flag outside his house. Not sure what that's about. He's got Asian American and American neighbors. Well, it really depends. Now, it really depends. A lot of people really will fly one just because it says they're a Southerner. That's what it means. Hey, I'm from the South. I'm just proud of who I am. There's no symbol for Southerner other than that. Like it or love it, whatever. We don't have a symbol. There's no logo for being from the South except that. And a lot of Southerners have gotten angry to see that symbol appropriated by racists, because then it makes it look bad. Susie Q. Maybe we should kind of carefully here so he doesn't get, yep, thank you, Susie Q. Yeah, we can get knocked here. We can get knocked here bad for talking in some of these areas here. As I said earlier, I don't like racism. I don't like it any. My family is multiracial. And some people say, well, I got a friend that's this race. No, my family is. It's not my grandkids. It's not my aunts or my uncles. I've got a black child and a Mexican grandchild. I love them to death. If you don't like that, then get out of here. Leave. Get out of my chat. Unsubscribe from my channel. If you can't accept that, be gone. Confederate flag is not racist. The Confederate flag represents Christ. Well, it is a St. Andrew's cross. That's literally what it is, St. Andrew's cross. So two sides in China, there are. Amanda, that is true. And like all nations, yeah. And then look, the United States, we're very evenly divided right now. Hello, Mr. Greg. Hope all is healthy and well for you, brother. Well, I got to tell you, I got to go to a funeral, maybe a double funeral, Monday. All right, today it's already Sunday morning or Saturday morning. Friday, and this is to me, this is still Friday because I haven't been asleep, you know. I lost an uncle and a first cousin today. Father and daughter both died the same day, but their deaths weren't related. It's just highly coincidental. My uncle was my oldest surviving direct uncle. He was my mother's brother that was closest to her in age, so he was her favorite. My mother was the oldest of a family of 6 kids, and I had lost 2 other uncles previously in that family. So now there's only 2 left, which is an Uncle Clarence and a Aunt Patsy. And I love them both a whole lot. They're both really good people, good natured. But yeah, Uncle Charlie and his Charles, we call him Charlie, and his oldest daughter both died today. But the deaths were not related. It was coincidental. So I'm having a hard time with that, guys. One reason I'm slowly getting started here tonight. Australia is an important part of the cabal plans. Yeah, and so is Australia, and so is America, and the rest of the world. But they really are seeming to be using Australia and Canada as the testing grounds or the showcases. No, man, Greg, it's not about racing. It's about the caste. They're the elites and we're the peasants. That's exactly right. Guys, check it out. He said it right. Racism is an option of a simple mind. That's true. That's true, Star Wolf. Very, very true. Very, very, very massive $1 billion headquarters of Scottish Rite. Yeah, true too. Z represents 33. Vlad is taking the out of the elite 33. Is he? There's a Confederate flag and a Southern flag. Well, there's a national flag and a battlefield flag. The national flag has the bars going this way and 13 stars for in it in a circle, kind of like the original colonial flag of the United States, or the original, not colonial flag, the original revolutionary flag of the United States that Betsy Ross stuck together. Except it's only got 3 bars, because stars and bars. A lot of people don't know what that is. Then there's the battlefield flag. Battlefield flag is square. The ones that people use today is really the naval jack because it's rectangular, which is the size of most regular flags. That's considered a Confederate battle flag. Arnold Smith, Rocky Man, just remember to tell them racists that when the lights go out and we're in total darkness, ask them, what does color mean? Exactly. But Suzuki, yeah, peons. Yeah, they want us all to be peons. Exactly. So what does it really boil down to? Who said? Somebody in there said it best. I'll scroll up so I'll find it. New Zealand. Yeah, you're right. Well, thank you, Michael Jackson. I'm very sorry for that. Thank you, Peekaboo. Shanti, One Blood. Um, it don't matter what race you are, they're playing us all. They play us against each other. They use this stuff to divide and conquer us. They want us divided. Oh, it's them. It's them. It's those. They want it that way. It's called divide and conquer. They are largely responsible for the polarization in America and in other parts of the world. It gets really polarized. We just can't stand each other. Then we'll fight each other. Then we'll fall. What's the game? They told us what the game is. You'll own nothing. You'll have no privacy. And you'll be happy. That was in their video. They took that video down. Oh, I made a copy of it, though. I still got it. That was on the website of the World Economic Forum. They put it out there. But when people got looking at it, it was gone. Take it away. But I made a copy of it. You'll own nothing. You'll have no privacy. Oh, you're going to be so happy. Well, if you own nothing, you have no means to change your position, except for going through the sucked up chain of command. You have no means to excel. It's all taken from you. You own nothing. You'll rent everything you own. It'll be delivered to you in a drone. So that you might think that's communism. It's something a little different, because here's the thing. Who's promoting this? The richest people on earth and the banksters. Who? Just go look at who's on the list. Just go to the website, World Economic Forum. Just go to the website and see who supports them, who's on the list. A big, uber big corporation. Who goes to their meetings? The top crust of the elite. The uber rich. Why are the uber rich promoting nobody owning nothing? It seems to be the antithesis of capitalism, the antithesis of everything they did to get where they're at. Because they're still going to be where they're at. Oh, it's a game. Today, you can achieve, you can get rich. You just got to climb that ladder. Develop your business. But you got to own property. You got to own the ladder. You got to own the rungs in the ladder to climb that ladder. It's your means of excelling, of climbing up. But what they're going to do is take out all the ladders. They're up here on this uber high top shelf, and we're down here. There's no more ladders to go up. There's no middle class, no other strata. They're going to knock all the ladders out, and we'll all be down here. So they want to create a permanent uber class, uber rich, and everybody else is peasants. Oh, they'll do their life extension. They'll get the best of the computer implants. They'll be totally integrated with AI. They won't even be human anymore. They're going to go way beyond us. See, they think they will achieve godhood. Somebody's written about that. That's actually been written by someone. They're going to be immortals with God powers, and we're going to be nothings, peons. And our existence will only be if it pleasures them, because they want to get rid of the world population. It's written in stone. See, the Georgia guy, my channel's probably going to end tonight. This is probably the end of it. I'm saying too much. I got to go on another platform to talk this stuff. I'm going way overboard here. You ain't a man if you don't have land. Well, it might not be nothing to do with being a man, but you got something to that, Star Wolf. So they're playing everybody against everybody, so that we're not looking at them in the game they're playing to take away the ladders where you can no longer climb. If they can really pull over this great reset, you got nothing. Don't let them take your land. Don't let them take your property. You say, hey, I own property. Well, do you really own it when you got to pay taxes to keep it? when they can declare eminent domain or whatever game they want to play. Why does government have those rights? Why does government have any rights? I think that's the question. Why does government have any rights at all? That's a good question. Why should government have any rights? What if we took all rights? Government's trying to steal our rights all the time. What if we just took the rights of the government? No, you ain't got no rights. We got the rights. There's more of us than there are of them. Look what's happening with the truckers. You see, if we push it far enough, if you just say, oh, you know what, there's no food going into this capital city anymore. Or, oh, you don't want us to assemble around? Okay, well, we're just not going to go there. We're not going to bring anything there. You're going to get no food. You're going to get no fuel, no water. See where you're at then. You see, the big cities who dominate the economies. When I talked about Civil War, I showed how they 500 counties in America got all the wealth, and the thousands of counties got no wealth. Yet all their wealth is in bookkeeping. It's inflated property, and the square feet of a New York City where they build high rises because it happens to be where it is. It's all the inflated property and worth of trading, of the trades they do, and the financial companies and ones and zeros and banks. It ain't real stuff. It's not something you can drink out of, something you can drink, something you can eat. It's not a tool you can plow the land with. It doesn't produce anything real. So all their value is hyperinflated. Bunch of nothing. Bunch of nothing. But suddenly they can't eat. They ain't got nothing. So who really controls the world? They do at the moment because they fooled us into it. They have fooled us into giving them all that power. It's a game, a trick. You give it to them. Stop. Just don't give it to them. Stop. There's more of us than there is of them. So if they want to say they're going to pull all the trucks away, they're going to take your bank accounts, take this, take that, well, just don't give them anything. You ain't got to put your trucks up there. Just don't send them at all. Don't take them the supplies. Boycott them. Sanction them as they do into you. Turn the tables. You ain't got to climb up the walls. Just make sure that those walls are empty. Turn off the water. See how far they go. Sovereign citizen, amen. Yahtzee says, Amanda, yeah. Pull out the little wooden blocks and see how long it stands. Oh, wow, Amanda, what a minute earlier. Worried about them in Washington. Yeah. Well, you want to take their teeth out? You can defang Washington, D.C. Just don't feed them. Don't feed them. Hey, Nessie says water is not a human right. Exactly. Why? Because they're trying to buy up water all over the world. They're trying to buy up water rights. What gives them the right to buy water rights? Let's say you got a well, and suddenly they say you don't have the right to the water in your well. Well, they can kiss my grits. Have you hugged their nug today? They can kiss my grits. Okay, guys. So in Canada, Trudeau just proposed making all profit on real estate sales over $1 million capital gains means all goes to the government like a tax. Well, see, another thing they're trying to do is property values get inflated. They're trying to claim capital gains on farmers, and farmers have to pay a tax on this huge capital gains for farmland that just makes a meager little salary for them a year. What happens? The farmers will have to sell it all. Then the farmers can't produce. And between that and the nursing home racket, where nursing homes, people have to sign. Our ancestors, a lot of cases, went in and develop family farms with the idea that your family would be able to farm this in perpetuity. They sweat and cut down trees, remove stumps, remove rocks and cleared fields, so their children's children will be able to farm and make a living, or so they thought. What they didn't envision was that somewhere down the road, some of those children, for the comfort of the last 1 or 2 years of their life, would sign over the farm while they're living miserably in a nursing home for a year or two. The family would lose the entire inheritance for a year or two of really bad comfort in a nursing home. What a racket. That should be abolished. That should be outlawed. That shouldn't be allowed. But everything is to take us off our land, take away our means of production, take away our independence. They want you to belong to the man. They have to work for the company or the government. But you will own nothing. You'll be working for them. Do you really think all these big corporations are promoting communism to give up their system, to give up what they own, the wealth they have? Why is it the uber rich that are promoting all this stuff? Because it's not what they're really promoting. It's a smokescreen. It's feudalism. Neo-feudalism. Uncomfortable News 7-second green guys. I usually don't ask this, but can you share my latest video? We'll have to go on your channel and look at it. Gotta be good. Your videos get me, and your talk gets me banned, but I'm on the verge of it. Here's the stuff I'm talking about tonight. I'm going way too far into this stuff. CT tax you to death state. Yep, that's true. We'll go and look at your stuff here in a minute. Uncommon News. That we can do that now. Hang on. I'm here looking into my Zoom screen because that's what you were seeing. Let me go back to my chat screen on the main computer here. Oh, did I shut it down? Oh, there it is. Go up and find their name, copy it and stick it in a scroll bar here. And we'll look and see what your latest thing is. Whoops, there it is. All right, guys, I want to do a screen share again. And I hope this time it just shares the product, the app I'm trying to share. It was really odd last time. I've never seen Zoom do that before. Sometimes Zoom acts funny. Share screen. Okay, this time it's just running the app. So the page, oh, I did it before. Uncommon News 777. Guys, check this channel out. All you gotta do is type that into YouTube. Check out Doug's channel here, Uncommon News 777. Got a lot of videos in here. You're upset to collapse. Ukraine poked the bear. They did, and so we. Join me, mission number 1. I suppose I really shouldn't play this in the course of my video. You probably will get me in all kind of trouble. Man, guys, I don't know if I can try to monetize this video tonight or not. Having a night with a video that's not monetized really cost me, and so far I've not got any super chats that I can see for this video tonight. So if y'all can give me some super chats, that would really help. That would really help because my revenues are down. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, we're talking about nuclear survival. I need y'all to come into my channel and look at these 2 videos. We're going to go here to my channel. To the videos you need to watch are Surviving Nuclear Events, War and More, just also talking about nuclear power plants and other things. Part 1 of 2. Then you come over to part 2 of 2, And this is going to be talking more of the shelter side of it. Y'all need to watch these two videos. And this one, the PowerPoint chart started about 19 minutes and 30 seconds into it. That's the first chart. And what I talked about in the beginning of that video is Ukraine. Pretty much stuff I've talked about in this video already is the beginning of that video. So you may not want to watch the first part of it. And there's a competitor. Now, you know what? These guys, their stuff is huge. Their food things are huge and heavy, and it's not got a whole lot of calories in it. So, yeah, I don't know. There we go. So I'm going to stop the share. Go check those videos out. Well, no, I'm going to stay on this for a minute. I'm going to stay here for a minute, guys. Hang on. I'll show y'all something. Gosh, this video's underperformed. Because this video was underperforming, I took a lot of content down. All these videos that I made private, I made them private so they wouldn't be listed, so people would more focus on these videos. Yeah, upon seeing this video hit 1,000 views, I actually made one of these other videos republic again. I put it in the public view, and you can see a lot of these videos, even make quite a few of them private. All these here, I made one of these down here public. I might do some more if it starts getting more views. Live videos, previous live videos. Look at all the ones I made private. Quite a few. So you can't come on here and watch this video. You can't see it. I mean, you won't be able to see it in the future, but I've made it private. This is the current video we're doing right now. Now, also my revenues are way down. Because I've had less views. Hey, there we go. Thank you, Suzy Q. Oh, we got Uncommon News and Suzy Q. Both gave us super chats. Thank you. Thank you very much. It really does help, guys. It does help. I mean, you know, if I don't make anything online, look, your first hour or two of your video is the only time it's going to make anything, really. That's when you get the most views. And if your first hour or two are live, then you don't get much in the way of advertising revenue. So super chats really help. They do, guys. I appreciate that, Suzy Q. And Doug, thank you. Thank you so very much. So that really, really helps me. Justin Castro. Well, you got it right. He is definitely a Castro. So the terminal, Greg, can you say something about filtering water that is radioactive using the Berkeley filter, then when to replace the filters? Well, what it's going to do is going to filter out the big particles. If you get a helium atom going through, you could probably still get a helium atom, a beta particle. Probably could go through. Star Wolf, thank you, Star Wolf. But beta particles are usually emitted by a bigger particle like cesium. Hey, love that neighbor. Thank you, and that is loving your neighbor. Thank you, appreciate it, guys. Really, now we're getting some super chats. That's going to make it worthwhile tonight. That helps. Y'all need to remember that for creators, when we're on here doing live broadcasts, we're not getting anything for it. And a lot of people, I've had people make comment, oh, Greg, you make so much money doing all that buckets of food. That's horrible. You need to quit doing that. Well, I'm going to show y'all something here. Hang on, I'll show y'all something else in a minute. Stop share. Bing. Here's my latest check from True Leaf Market. You see that? Let me show my address, right? Not True Leaf Market. This is from Patriot Supply. This is for all those buckets of food. This is for 1 month. I showed a previous check on here not too long ago. Although I had to last his direct deposit because for some reason checks don't always come to my address because post office messes up so much. I'll cover the address up. Here is the amount of a whole month's check from my Patriot Supply where everybody's panicking and doing emergency buys. This is really making me so rich. I'm so appreciative of that. Wow, I'm going to go buy me Mercedes Benz on that $114.37. Yeah, there was some guy used to come on here named Iggy. He would always try to attack me. You're making so much money. You're getting so rich doing all that. Oh, give me a break. How hilarious. Oh, yeah, by the way, you know what, guys? There is specials, and with all the stuff going on, you need to think about it. You really need to think about it. You need to think about these specials right now. If you can afford it, if you can do it, if you can't afford it, don't do it. But if you can afford it, it ain't gonna get any cheaper. Mountain House has been, it said Mountain House is going to raise their prices very dramatically very soon, and a lot of the other suppliers are right behind them. But right now, my Patriot Supply, if you go to prepwithgreg.com, you get $50 off a long-term storage food, lasts 25 years, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 2,000 calories a day, make you a winner. It's 2 of these buckets, or you get $150 off a 3-month supply, which is 6 of those buckets. Hey, Hades Comet, how you doing? $10. Thank you, Hades Comet. I appreciate that. Mark Twain was born the year Hades Comet come, and he died the next time it came. Hades Comet. And he said he would. He knew that. He was a comet man. Ring Regs. In my latest video, I invite people to join me in urging Senator Hall to reintroduce SB 2097. We recognize the right of the people to use physical gold and silver as a medium of exchange. Makes sense. Of course, you can always barter it. All the sons in here. I'm Allison. That's my name. So all the son, I like to kind of tease each other about that. She's all the son, and I'm all his own, or Allison. Is all the son here? I don't see all the son. Are you in here, all the son? All the son's usually in here. There it is, all the son. Yeah, Hades Comet. Bing. How's all the son not a mod? I thought you were a mod, all the son. All of a sudden, do you want to be a mod? Hey, I was born in '86. That's where my dad got my middle name from. Okay. So your middle name's Haley, named after Halley's Comet, then I take it. Okay, that's cool. That is cool. Put this big bucket of food back over there behind me. Now I can come up here close. All is on. All of a sudden, weren't you a mod? What happened? I was looking for you as a mod. I thought you were a mod on here. Do you want to be a mod? See, all the sun, all is on. That's my last name. All is on. So, and also it could be sun, S-O-N. So pretty simple. All the sun, all is on. 100 pounds of sugar would be great food storage. Yeah, 100 pounds of sugar can last a long time. Okay. All right, be good, all the sun. Let's see here. Well, now where's the moderator thing part? That's odd. Let's try that again. All right, something's going wrong here. Where's make a moderator? Something ain't looking right here. Damn it. Better be careful. What happened? There's all the sun again. Clicking over beside your name, and there should be a option to make you a moderator. Oh, there it is. Now it's showing. Bing. All of a sudden, you have hereby been knighted moderator. Carry your wrench lightly. Well, yeah. Walk quietly and carry a big wrench. I like wrenches. Let's see here. 333. Coming news. The Blue Bottle Bunny Farm, 100 pounds of sugar returned to 100 gallons of wine real quick in my house. So not sure about that Mercedes Benz. How about the 1970 Chevelle LS6 with a 4-speed buckets and console tack and gauges? I'll tell you, the 4Runner. Yeah, let them old kit tacks and gauges. All right. Well, look, for those of you that are mods, you got a big responsibility. I try to keep the channel clean. So if people are really disrespecting each other or using bad language, get rid of the comment. If somebody's repeat offender, if they're attacking, if they're a troll, especially if they come in promoting websites, it could be porn sites or Trojan web links, get them out. They usually come in with Cyrillic in their names, or usually Russian bots. Delete them immediately. Delete the bots immediately. But make sure the bots. Some of you guys have occasionally got a little overzealous and hidden people who are real friends of the channel. Brian Perendi was one that got hidden, and I actually, taken off the channel, basically deleted, and I added him back. He's actually one of my top donors. Both are super chats, and he sends me stuff all the time. He sent me this. He thinks I need wrinkle cream. I don't know. Oh yeah, and Judy Dowell. Oh, she sent me this stuff. Beard balm. This one's sandalwood, and this one is cypress. I tend to like the cypress better, but they both work the same. Gallon to a liter. Well, a liter is not a gallon. Gallon is to a liter. Gallon's bigger than a liter. All right, so you can take this stuff. Here, smell it. It's a smell-o-vision, right? See, it's solid. When I put it in my hand, it melts. Melts in your hand, not in your mouth. Kind of like the opposite of M&Ms, right? Remember M&Ms? Haha, wrinkle king. Yeah, anyway. Beard balm. Well, I should have melted it more. That's where I put it in my beard. 3.8 liters is a gallon. I believe that's right. There we go. Thank you for that. I get a little crazy sometimes, says Star Wolf. Oh, don't we all? Don't we all? And some people think we got to be totally serious all the time in here. And I say, no, we are a family, and we got to have a little fun occasionally, and we shouldn't always be barking and serious, because I get accused sometimes by somebody, oh, Greg, all you just put up fear porn. No, I don't. We have a lot of hopeful videos and how-to videos. And some people think I don't do enough of the so-called fear porn stuff. I get accused both ways. Can't satisfy everybody. Can't satisfy everybody. I don't know who it was now. He was really worried earlier, about me making presentations, talking about the other. It's me, so Greg, you never talk about Donetsk and Luhansk. So I've talked about Donetsk and Luhansk many times. And I've always said they deserve the right of self-determination. I've said so many times. Yeah, people, you don't ever talk about it. That's what you say. You don't ever talk about it. Really? Then you don't ever watch my videos if that's what you think. I get comments like it so much. And I get them more when I post stuff on Facebook and chat groups. Yeah, but that is an imperial gallon or a U.S. gallon. Well, somebody needs to look at it up there, Arnold. You got a point. New day is always. Another super chat. Way to go. Hades comment. Yeah, amen. Amen. Let me make sure I haven't missed something here. Hades comment, $10. That's good. All right. So tonight, this makes it kind of, this makes it worthwhile monetarily. Gomez Adams, you have to follow your heart. You got to do that. Sounds like 84 a gallon now. What? Yeah, they're talking about gas maybe going to $200, patrolling $200 a gallon. We've been on here almost 2 hours. So what we talked about, let's recapitulate. I talked about, the reason I talked about the stuff that Putin said was to underscore that there isn't a risk of war going nuclear. I didn't go further into it. Now we need to do that. Now, do you know rocket Scientist David Adair. David Adair. Where is David Adair at, Rose? The name kind of sounds familiar, but I can't put a face on it. Tell me more about David Adair. His comment. I had to, couldn't resist, put my gray man get home bag in my trunk this week because of the video I saw with you and Stacy. That is smart. Let's see, that may save your life one day. If I can bring you information that saves your life or helps you in a scrape, then I'm doing my mission. I'm doing my job. That's what I'm on here for. That's why I put so much content in those nuclear videos, guys. Maybe I should show snippets of those so you can see the kind of content that's in them. Now, that second one, I talk just general stuff, and I'm talking about Ukraine for probably the first 19 and a half minutes of it. But once you get in it, and then I get into the PowerPoint presentation, and I'm putting stuff out there. A lot of content there. Have you ever played Santa Claus? Ho, ho, ho. I am Santa Claus. What are you talking about? Why have I got to play Santa Claus? Ho, ho, ho. Have you ever noticed I got Santas all around here? You see the Christmas lights? What's this? It's Rocket Santa. Who made this? Blue Bottle Bunny Farm, Susan, the Blue Bottle Bunny Farm. And the rocket scientist is heading to what? The moon. And he's got an elf, a baby Jesus. He's got a baby Jesus and a alien elf over here. See that? Susan, Blue Bottle Bunny Farm made that. So there you go, guys. That's Rocket Santa, and I just knocked over Starship. Oh my gosh, we broke Starship. Don't tell Elon I broke Starship. Holy smoke. NC or HW. NC's North Carolina, I guess. What's HW? Hardware? HW. There you go, man. A D, Greg. Where did that top pin go? Uh-oh. I broke Starship. Broke it. I broke it. I hope Elon don't find out. I got to find that pin later. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that one's been banged up. Those were given to me by an old friend of mine named Ben Houston, and he's been quite involved in space development conferences, videotaping them for years. Ben Houston. And oh yeah, let's show you what Rex, some of the things Rex gave me. Rex gave me this shirt, which has got my logo on it. Hey, Blue Bottle Bunny Farms, there. Don't forget the stockpile BC Bic lighters. That's right. It'll be worth a lot one day. You're exactly right. Bic lighters. When it hits the fan, everybody's wanting Bic lighters. But don't show them all at once. Don't let them know you got a big stockpile. And act like you just got one you'll trade. Because we know you got a bunch. You're gonna be subject to a raid. I got some nice little signs made by Rex. Do you still have a biodegradable analog communications device I sent you? Oh yeah, I use it regularly. This is how I summon the girls in the back. I use that regularly. Doug made that. Check it out. Wicks. Made from a mesquite branch. Rex Bear. Got it. So these are things that Rex Bear gave me. Caution. Wormholes. Danger. Flat Earth. Somebody falling off the side. Caution. Snowflakes. Yeah, snowflakes are going to melt around here. And I actually bought one of those signs at LeakCon that said caution snowflakes. That's the one I bought. This is one Rex gave me. And all this can be found at www.tinfoilcap.co. Tinfoil cap. For those of you that don't know, I got one of the best tinfoil caps that was ever made. That's the Marty McFly version. Came straight from, again, Rex Bear. Rex is a riot. There you go. He is. He's a lot of fun to hang out with, too. This thing's a little dusty. Gotta wipe the dust off. Somebody's sitting up there. Which. Interesting. I want to talk about the Booger Man a little bit. I might even tell y'all the story of the holy chicken. If you want to hear about the holy chicken, I might tell you that story too tonight. You know what I'm worried about? We've not heard from Gorgeous Awesome in a couple of days. Gorgeous Awesome's having a tough time, guys. Go to the Etsy store and check them out. Tell them that Greg Allison sent you. They've been having a tough time. So I need to support them. And who Blue Bottle Bunny Farm we got with us tonight? Is it Rex or is it Susan or is it Randy? Who we got from Blue Bottle? We need to pray for Randy Bly, guys, because he is. One time got diagnosed as only having a 20% chance of survival, and I think since we've been praying for him regularly, he seems to be doing quite well overall. So you can feel free to chime in about that Blue Bottle Bunny Farm, whichever one we got. The wrinkle cream is for your wrinkly worms. There we go. Ta-da! It's quite an odd coincidence by which I got this cap. Haley's comment, what happened? That's what's happening at All the Sun. Fire and snow, says All the Sun. I've got a lot of great gifts from a lot of you. And New Days Old Ways has sent me some good eats. And some medicinals, but I can't get that cough syrup to flow. Blue Bottle Bunny Farm, way too funny. What did it say? Oh, yeah, for the wrinkly worms. And we got to check out some of that music New Days Old Ways has written for me. She's written several potential theme songs. Green Greg's is the place to be. Farm living is a life for me. You got to share those lyrics with me again. She's written 2 pretty cool songs. Bears or Patriots. There we go. Only you can prevent communism. Smokey the Bear. Smokey the Bandit. Only you can prevent communism. Or stop communism at forest fires. Only you can stop communism. Sit it in warm water. Okay. Finished coffee. Now it's tea time. Joy. Yeah, I got this hat from Rex. There's a huge story about this hat. This is the Marty McFly version of the tinfoil cap. It's called the Marty McFly version because it's aluminum. The only thing that's added that you didn't see in Back to the Future, Marty McFly wore a cap just like this, except it didn't have a clock on it. But that clock is about Marty McFly more than anything. And it says, of course, tinfoilcap.co. It's got the yin and yang. I talk about yin and yang tonight. And let's see here. Yeah, it says blast from the past. So that's intended to be a Back to the Future clock. You know, although it's a stopwatch, but it's kind of a throwback to the clock they had on the clock tower that they used to go back in time when the lightning strike was in it exactly when lightning hit it. So it gave them energy extra so it can go forward in time. New Days Always, but it probably has a cinema stick stuck in the neck. It may be it. I can't get nothing out of that bottle. She's telling me I need to take this cough medicine. She sent me cough medicine. I just can't get it out. Anyway, so Rex and I both went to Los Angeles to do video. Gomez Adams, Finished Water. Now it's Pete time. Oh. Rex and I both went to Los Angeles to shoot Actually, I got Rex on this show. It's called Strange Earth. And it was filmed in Los Angeles. and they flew me there, although I was already in Arizona visiting. So I got flown from Arizona to Los Angeles, then flown home from Arizona. No, from LA to Alabama. Um, so we did this show where we were reviewing videos about strange things and commenting on them. And it turned out we made our very own strange, anomalous video, quite by accident, it seems, or whatever, flux capacitor, that's right. So before we went there, Rex threw this cap in his van with the intent to give me a tinfoil cap. It just so happens that he threw in his van days ahead of time the Marty McFly version. Rex and I, halo, exactly all the sun with light. You know the story, all the sun? Rex and I went to be filmed. The first day they had problems getting the studio set up. They thought they had it all set up and it wasn't right. The lighting wasn't right. And they just had problems. They decided they were going to move the whole thing into another room. Basically, they rented a house and they set up the studio in it. And it just weren't working. They put it originally in a room that had too many windows or something. So they moved it to the kitchen after that. Dining room area, actually. So, like the hat, there you go. So they moved the film, but while they were moving it, said, well, we're supposed to be in there shooting video. They told us to take a break for a couple of hours. So I looked at Rex. I said, hey, Rex, why don't we go to the Mount Hollywood tunnel? You know, there's Griffith Observatory. I said, it's all kind of strange things about that tunnel. There's a lot of symbology about these movies. There'd be a good chance to talk about it. There's a lot of symbology about Christopher Lloyd, I believe is his name, that played Doc in Back to the Future. And he appeared in several different movies and even in cartoons. A couple of them associated with that mountain, one with a tunnel, specifically one with the Griffith Observatory above it, in which he was a cartoon character, basically. But he's often been cast in a messianic type roles and just a lot of odd things. His name's Lloyd, Lord. So it's kind of a lot of little funny oddities that play into it. You know, he was also in, he was one of the aliens in Buckaroo Banzai into the Eighth and a Half Dimension, whatever that movie was. That was a really funny movie. So Christopher Lloyd played a lot of interesting, weird roles. But so we went to the Mount Hollywood tunnel, and I'm talking about this. I'm talking about the movie Back to the Future, and we're walking up down that inside that tunnel. And I'm talking about the messianic role that Christopher Lloyd played, the miracles, some of the things that would happen in the movie. Back to the Future. Marty McFly. When Marty McFly was in that movie, he was wearing this hat. Rex had no idea it was going to go there. Rex had no idea it was going to be talking about that stuff. We're walking through that tunnel, and Rex starts chanting Hugh. Now, if you go to my Galactic Greg's channel, you're going to find the video there, and you will see the view from my camera, and you will see the link to Rex's video. It's going to be hard to find on Rex's channel because Rex has done a zillion videos since then. But you'll find the link to his video. He and I both filmed the exact same thing with my camera and his camera. We're walking down a tunnel, and he's saying, Hugh, Hugh, Hugh. He did that. Now, I thought that was mighty odd. Why was he saying Hugh? It turns out to be my middle name. So why's he chanting my middle name? Didn't even know Rex knew my middle name. Why is he chanting my middle name? Of course, he explained it later. And well, it's like Om. It's a very powerful frequency. And I later looked up Hugh, and it was listed as a God frequency. I thought, what? You know, so it's a very powerful chant and frequency. And what I said after that was Halo. I won this. This is the only thing I'm in Wikipedia for. It's a Space Pioneer Prize. Same thing that got us in the Guinness Book of World Records. Because I started a program called High Altitude Liftoff. Halo. We launched rockets from balloons. Hang a rocket from a balloon and off we go. We're going to fly a rocket into space. We're going to begin the amateur space race. Halo! And get a rocket from a balloon, and off we go. Here's a rocket motor for a spinoff from Halo, which was my company heart, High Altitude Research Corporation. Don't everybody have a rocket motor by their desk? And I got remnants of the D6 rocket in my backyard. Don't everybody have a rocket in their backyard? I got a Patriot missile nozzle on my back porch. Everybody's got that kind of stuff laying around, right? So we're walking down this tunnel, and Rex says, you, and I go, hello. And when I yelled that, unbeknownst to us, light seemed to have been emitted from my voice. And you see compression waves of light, and they are modulated, amplitude modulated to the words, the syllables, halo, as I said them. I caught it on my camera. It was caught on Rex's camera, but I didn't see it till later. Rex said, Greg, you see that video? I looked at my camera and said, wow, that's weird. We were out there to examine anomalous videos, and we generated one. And this video was much harder to try to figure out than anything we were put by the TV crews out there to figure out. It was not a reflection off the wall. It was actually in the air. As you can see the tunnel wall, you can see the curb. It was actually suspended in the air going down the tunnel at the speed of sound. Very fast. Light from voice. Halo. I say halo for High Altitude Liftoff. A lot of people are already saying halo in this family of channels. So when I say it, I mean it. Light. So that, as if that wasn't miraculous enough, as soon as we got back to the hotel where we're both saying, Rex says, Greg, I brought a gift from his place in Colorado. Greg, I brought a gift to give you. And he went in his van and he pulled out this hat to give to me. I thought, oh my Lord, we're in that tunnel talking about Marty McFly the whole time, and you had a Marty McFly hat to give me all along. What is the probability of that? And by the way, the hat I wore in that tunnel was this one. This is what I had on my head when we were walking through the tunnel talking. This is the hat I was wearing. Made by Reverend Annie, by the way, in Utah. This was a hat I was wearing walking through the tunnel while we were talking. Because I like to wear this thing. It's really warm. And I wear it a fair bit. Not as much as I used to on my videos. As I do like my Space Command logo here. I got a Space Command logo on a mug gave to me by Granny Land. What's Granny at tonight? Hadn't seen her. Maybe I started too late for Granny. But guys, that was weird. It was kind of magical. Not only did I speak light, but the whole cap thing. He had that cap to give me all along. Right that day after we were talking about this stuff, he had no idea whatsoever that we would go to that tunnel and talk about those things. I hadn't mentioned it. I was just kind of thinking that, and it hit me. We went. Gandalf. There you go. Phenomenal. It was phenomenological. Of course, here's my little wand. Woden's Wand of Wonders, given to me by Gorgeous Awesome. So go out and check out this little Dusty. Go out and check out Gorgeous Awesome's Etsy store. By all means, guys. Wish they were here tonight. Halo. You see other people say halo, but I say it all the time. There's a greeting. High Altitude Liftoff. Halo. Oh yeah. Katie tells me not to point this thing at people. Gorgeous Awesome's great handiwork. This is not a bone, it's apple wood. And look at that. Of course, they also made me the Lemurian laser wand. Beautiful. The best Monday night was Hold My Beer. The best from Monday night was Hold My Beer. All right. God works in mysterious ways. Indeed, love thy neighbor. Indeed. Indeed. It was really interesting. Call it synchronicity. Exactly, Lisa. You know, that was just so interesting. So interesting. Blue Bottle. My childhood swimming hole is 1 mile from Angel's Crest Highway tunnel we're talking about. Oh, nice. Isn't that interesting? That was your swimming hole. Applewood. It is. You didn't know that? It is Applewood. And the note they gave me when they sent this was an apple for the teacher. And they were appreciative because I'd done all those videos on gardening, and they used that, and they were gardening. And they got their whole community gardening at the time. And I thought that was very powerful. That, you know, my videos inspired a lot of people to go into gardening in their community. Harmonic synest. Yeah, harmonic synest. I can't even say it right now. Yeah, that word. Said a minute ago. Applewood. My halo was neck support, 4 bolts, and a skull. Oh, yeah. My ex-stepmom, my dad's second and last wife, she had a wreck. She had to wear one of those for some time. And she had 2 little scars in her temple. The rest of her life, where the screws were screwed into her skull. Yeah, that's pretty rough. She got hit by a diesel truck, broke her neck. Of course, I know it's apple. What's it used for? Well, you tell us. You're the herbalist. You tell us. What is the apple? What would Applewood be used for? Especially as a wand. You tell us. Katie's the herbalist. Big time. Willie Fix. My bride worked on Halo or surveillance stuff. Lots of halos out there. Yeah, that's true. Longevity and sexuality, the key to immortality. Ooh. Longevity and sexuality, key to immortality. Hey, I need to magnify the energy here. The rock, the stone on this is shungite. That came from a meteorite that struck Russia. It's called shungite. Shungite. Diamond from the Oklahoma Ranch Project takes chips of shungite, puts them in his canteen, and drinks them. Drinks. He says it gives you good energy. So there we are, guys. Shungite. Maybe I'll live forever. Yeah, some crazy stuff. There's some crazy stuff, Star Wolf. Crazy stuff. Right? Applewood, good for schmoozing. So, could I get a girlfriend by pointing it? He days tells me not to point this thing. Let's see here. Fertility, says Striker. Interesting. I got 4 Bolch Tent S. Not sure what you're saying there. All right. Well, New Days hit somebody. Well, if she hit somebody, they really were offensive. It does have a vibration about its halo. Interesting, Star Wolf. The shungite. The Terminator. Einstein said WW4 will be fought with sticks and stones. Well, we may be heading there. Okay, let's wrap this thing up. Let's talk about it here. I'm tired. Yeah, we need to wrap this whole thing. Just ask Buttigieg. Oh, Buttigieg. Really? Buttigieg, presidential candidate. Buttigieg. Yeah, all right. Bots. All right, very good. Meat. So the whole thing with Putin I was pointing out is that the Russians are now claiming it's part of their strategy, and that if they get into a tactical situation, a battle or war, and they think they're losing it, that they would use tactical nukes to make sure that they don't lose their objective, whatever they're fighting for. That's scary because that kind of stuff can escalate. A tactical nuke can have the other side reciprocating in a nuke, and this could just go tit for tat and get bigger and bigger. Next thing you know, it's WW3. That's scary that that's in their strategies. And the fact that they've been emphasizing their nuclear power so much, and they developed these hypersonic weapons, which don't give you the warning time that gave us the luxury in the past of knowing that this reported attack wasn't real so many times. Now we don't have that luxury anymore. As we're putting more forces into Eastern Europe, so that's what they claim they're worried about. Putin has threatened that he would also put Russian forces, maybe he said in hardware, which insinuates maybe missiles, in Venezuela. How many times have I talked about Venezuela in there in Stacey Zavicki streams, and Cuba? If you don't recall, we had a Cuban Missile Crisis that was the closest thing we ever come to war with Russia. And they're talking about doing it again, all over again. So maybe bigger, Venezuela and Cuba, maybe Nicaragua, maybe Brazil. Am I relocating to Arizona? Possibly. It'll be over time. I hope to go out there this summer and start putting in a well and other things. I got to make my arrangements for that. Jason Mills, Terminator Greg covered the last time, basically spread plastic sheeting. He mentioned everything lost by 2 weeks without water, but I was thinking if you use a drop system might help with that issue. Now, who's Terminator Greg? Terminator Greg covered that last time, basically spread plastic sheets, everything lost for 2 weeks. Not sure. Will it fix it? Got hidden by all the sun. Oh, Bay-O pigs. That's true. Fix it. New days. I just checked out message. Can you block it, please? What message do you need blocked? All right. So we're gonna have to wrap up here, guys. I just want you to know that this thing with Russia is serious. It could get more serious. There's a lot of generals that are really concerned that this could go nuclear. So my little computer here is dying. I've been reading the messages from it's running out of battery, so I'm gonna shut it off and plug it in. So run out of battery. This is my little computer that I've been using for this. So we're going to scoot some things around here, rearrange things, put a platform up here to recharge this little puppy. And we're about to call it a night. I'm gonna have to run. Mother Nature's calling me too. So bear in mind what we're talking about here. We're talking about a couple of things. One, Putin made some threats. A lot of people are taking these threats to mean nuclear war. They could mean EMP. Such, talking about things such as we've never seen it before. Well, EMP would be horrible. It would be a weapon employed in a way that we've never seen before. And Russia counts that not as a nuclear attack, but as an electronic means of electronic warfare, because it takes out your electronics, your electrical systems. Problem is, it takes out everything else, and everybody dies a year later. Maybe worse than nuclear war. So the downside of that is this: even if it's an EMP, it's still a nuclear event. And when these power plants go cooking off down here, spent fuel rod pools go cooking off, you're going to have to worry about radiation all over the United States. And that's a big part of what I covered in this part 2 video. So y'all need to watch it. I go into detail to show that those fires are possible. I show the test results in Sandia National Laboratories. I had a nuclear engineer telling me that that was not possible. I got the test results that says not only is it not possible, but it absolutely does happen. So it's in there, but you got to go by what is it, 14.5 minutes or 19.5 minutes in the video where it actually started fire for, because I'm talking about Ukraine earlier on. So check that video out. By all means, guys, go out and check out these nuclear survival videos. They're very important. And I also have nuclear bug out zone videos, and the ones I did with Stacy Savicki, what to do in the first 24 hours, 48 hours. The interview I did with Craig Douglas. There's several interviews on here y'all need to pay attention to. And then I got a general bug out video too, which is pretty important. These videos will help you if times get rough, so you need to watch them. All right, guys, that's kind of where I was going with all this. We've got real reasons to be concerned. Whether you want to believe that's Putin's fault or the United States' fault or Ukraine's fault, whatever you want to believe, there's things to be concerned about. And what you need to know is we're going to have issues with supplies, big time issues. And that's already set in the cards. That's coming at us. The supply chain is going to be wrecked. Oh yeah, by the way, we get 90% of the neon or some gas, noble gas we use at labors and lasers to make our computer chips with from Ukraine. Yeah, there's gonna be some real shortages. Guys, I'm gonna have to run. I gotta run right now. Mama Nature is saying I gotta run. So guys, thank you all very much for watching. Thank y'all for the super chats. Thank you so much, everybody. Y'all have an awesome, awesome night. Remember, as long as we got breath in our lungs, there should be hope in our minds. Pray and don't ever give up. Never give up and don't ever panic. Let's keep our heads on our shoulders so that we can actually keep our heads on our shoulders. Always keep your eyes wide open, head on swivel though, and trust no one, saith the Lord. That didn't come from me. It came from the good book. So there you go, everybody. Everyone take care. God bless. And